So it's almost that time of year again, the silly season, the holidays, and it's been a really strange, hard year for everyone. But for some others, this time of year is really hard. If you're on a fertility journey, if you've lost a baby, if it just feels like there is someone missing at this time of year, I just remember how hard the Christmas season really is when you're struggling. And it doesn't matter what your story is or why you're struggling. We all struggle for different reasons. Some of us have just been through a really big transition this year, and therefore this time of year feels really hard. Maybe we're away from loved ones. Maybe we no longer have those people in our life. So for whatever reason you're struggling this year, I just want to offer you some tips to help get through this silly season, to help look after yourself as best you can so that you can get through this time of year, acknowledging what you're feeling, but also finding a little bit of hope and joy at this time of year as well. So there are a couple of things I recommend doing, and the first one is taking time for a bit of a digital detox. Whether you decide that the 2 weeks over Christmas and New Year are going to be the time that you just switch off your phone and put it aside, or delete all your social media apps, however you decide to take this detox will obviously depend on a few things, and you'll have to find the type of detox that works best for you. So for instance, if you work in social media or you need social media for work, you may not be able to step away entirely from your phone or even turn your phone off if you need your phone for phone calls and messages from loved ones who might need to get in touch with you. But if you can, maybe you can just delete the Instagram, the Facebook, the YouTube app, whatever you need to just get a little bit of space around you this holiday season. Because sometimes when you're feeling like shit and you're looking at everybody else's happiness reel, it doesn't make you feel any better. It doesn't help to look and see all those babies' first Christmas pics when you yourself have lost a baby, and give yourself that grace to be like, no, it's okay to look after me first. They won't actually miss me liking their photo or commenting on their photo. I need to look and protect myself first. So a digital detox is a great way to do that. Maybe it's just for a couple of days. Maybe it's just for every Sunday in December. You work out how it works best for you. It could just be turning your phone off at 6 p.m. at night and not turning it on again till 6 a.m. the next morning. So at least you get that 12-hour break. You're not sitting and scrolling just before bed. Maybe you find some good books to read or some holiday movies to watch, and just find a way to fill yourself up that isn't comparing where you are to where everybody else is. The second thing I really want to recommend you doing is finding a way to get outside as often as possible. Now, I know I am incredibly blessed to be in Australia, and here during the Christmas season, it is hot, it is summer, and we can be out and about. And of course, if you are in another part of the world and it's cold and it's snowing, the outside probably doesn't seem as appealing. But even just 5 minutes outside, breathing in that fresh air, maybe feeling the snow in your hands, whatever it is, getting yourself into a natural environment. The lyrics of one of my favorite songs says it's best, go down to the water's edge, remember your place. Many moons have risen and fallen long before you came. And I think it always just reminds me when I get out in nature how small I actually am. And that's not to lessen your pain. That's not me saying you're not important. That's not me saying your struggle isn't real. It's very real and valid. But I think when we can just see that we're part of something bigger, we can let go of some of that control we're trying to grasp at over the situation. And sometimes letting go of that control a little bit can help to ease our suffering. Kind of go, okay, someone bigger, someone greater, something bigger than us has the plan, and we don't need to grip and grasp and struggle as much. And we can find a little bit of contentment in that. At least I find that anyway. So as much as possible, get outside, get yourself in nature, and give yourself that reminder that in nature, everything does tend to work itself out in the end. The third tip I want to share is get yourself moving, shift that negative energy and emotion. It doesn't really matter what type of movement you choose. It could be dancing around the living room in your undies. It could be doing a yoga class with me. It could be going for a run. It could be a boxing class. Anything to just get those endorphins flowing, which helps you to feel good, but also helps your body to process that stress and process that emotion. So science actually tells us that our bodies need movement to process stress. It's linked back to when our stress was really about being in fight or flight and fighting or running for our survival. And our body sees that as how we process that emotion, that fight or flight stress response. Now we get that same physiological response when we're stressed about life in general, and our body needs to move to process all that. So however you choose to do that, it really doesn't matter. I would also say pick something you enjoy. If you've got to do it anyway, may as well enjoy it, hey. I'll leave some links below for some yoga classes and even a practice if you're all snuggled up on the couch and don't feel like moving, a practice that can help shift some of those emotions when you don't feel like getting up and moving. The fourth tip I have is maybe you want to say no to the big parties and the big gatherings. I know sometimes they can seem appealing because you can kind of hide in the crowd and it can be a good distraction. But I often find when I'm feeling like shit, small talk just makes it worse. It's like you just end up on this surface level and it just reminds you where you're not going so well in life and you kind of end up in that comparison trap again. But if you can, try and limit those big gatherings. Instead, stick to small, intimate gatherings with your nearest and dearest, those really deep conversations, those people who understand what you're going through. You'll come away from those conversations, even if you don't talk about whatever you're struggling with, just feeling held and supported because you know they understand where you're at. Instead of feeling misunderstood by a mass of people who don't really care about you that much, I find those small, intimate gatherings, especially at this time of year, really help me to feel just more surrounded by love and care and compassion, and that's what you need at this time of year. And then the final practice that can help you get through this silly season is daily journaling. So Julie Cameron coined the term morning pages, but really it doesn't matter what time of day you do it. Morning is great because you kind of get out all that stuff before you start the day and it sets you up for a really fresh, kind of centered, non-crazy day, if that makes sense. It gets out all your crazy on a page. So you're just writing 2 to 3 pages, just free thought, not really structured or anything like that, getting it on a page so that you can move on with your day. I know for me, when I was really struggling this practice and still continues to do it, I always notice when I've let my journaling practice slide, I need to come back to it. It just helped me get really clear on my thoughts. And if I was ever struggling with something, you know how sometimes you start picking arguments with your partner or like, you know this is a tense issue and you're just going to pick at it for a little bit. And often I find that's because we're trying to understand it ourselves. And so we pick at it with our partner to see kind of what response we get and we kind of talk about it then and kind of get to the end of it. But that can sometimes create a bit of drama that we don't actually need. Whereas if you're journaling, you kind of get to that clarity on your own without needing to draw someone else into the drama of whatever is going on in your mind. If you are brand new to journaling and would like some help getting started, I'll leave a link below for you to go and check out. I'm running a little workshop this year where every day for 2 weeks over the Christmas and New Year period, we're going to be writing to a certain journaling prompt and really looking after each other this year, looking after ourselves, looking after each other and setting ourselves up for a really great fresh start heading into the new year without kind of all that mental baggage that we often take into the new year. So if you'd like to join us, the links will be below. And finally, before I go, I just want to say if you are really struggling this Christmas season, I've been there, my heart goes out to you. It honestly does get better even when you don't feel like it's going to. Do everything you can to look after yourself as best you can right now. Again, I'll leave some other practices below that I've created in previous years, some meditations, some yoga practices, that sort of thing. I'm sending you so much love and hope. Namaste.